Crimson Peak, you've been immersed in that world for so long, and we are now getting the opportunity with virtual reality and the Oculus Rift experience to jump into that world and be as immersed in that world as you have been. Explain your inspiration behind trying to get people more involved in what you think of virtual reality and how it can really help immerse us in these worlds.
Well, I always think that at this point, any side experience on a story, it can be a video game or it can be a novel or a comic book. In the case of established properties like Marvel or Star Wars, you have a whole universe that sort of informs from every side what you do. And within very modest limits, we try to give you ulterior glimpses into what the movie is.
You've had this vision for such a long time, but how did it really start? Where did the idea of the Gothic romance, more than just a horror story, come from?
I wanted to make a movie about basically a love story where the courtship is quick. And unlike other love stories, the marriage is not the happy ending. The marriage is the beginning of the horror and the beginning of actually people really getting to know each other. And you can go either way. And I think the beauty of the movie is that the bad guys, as scary as they may be or as evil as they've been able to be, they're still human. They're still recognizable. And that is of a piece with some of my work. But I was inspired by Gothic romance, which is a genre that is not produced anymore. And on TV it is. In the BBC and London and so forth. Mm-hmm. But as a big, lavish studio production, it hasn't been done in decades. And I wanted to make a movie that was gorgeous to look at, emotionally sound, and still spooky, and still dark, and still R-rated. And I think it's a movie where everything has been a confection. The sets, the props, the wardrobe are all telling you the story. They're not just there to be pretty, they're telling you part of the story.
Now, along those lines, creating this exquisite world, and it was a very long shoot, as we understand, what was the biggest challenge?
Well, the house, which I don't want it misinterpreted that the house chases after them or become a monster. The house, as a setting, needed to tell you all you needed to know about the characters. So the house needed to be like a rotting creature.
And you built it, correct?
And we built the entire house. And I think the house tells you anything you need to know about the family. I love explaining the movie through images. This frustrates some people. I'm sorry, that's the way I am. Don't invite me to dinner. But I think that I love the idea that if you are a mindful audience, you're going to get a lot of the information from the house, the wardrobe, the way they move, the way they are presented by the camera, rather than having lengthy conversations.
Can we get one of the virtual reality experiences to just walk through the house?
Yeah, I hope so, but the house is too big. I don't know if anyone makes that type of experience on a budget.